What's going on, everybody? Danny the Bull here with a special live stream. We have the founder of Mintlayer, Enrico Rubboli here. Bitcoin ETFs are a major narrative during this crypto cycle and highlight the future need for more efficiency within the Bitcoin ecosystem. So we're going to talk about what Mintlayer is doing, how they're built to open the doors to decentralized finance within the Bitcoin ecosystem. Talk about a little overview, ask some questions of Enrico about what's been going on. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you back to the channel. Enrico, how are you?
Thank you, Danny. Thank you. All good here.
Yeah. How's it? How was your holiday season?
Oh, good. Oh, good. At the moment I'm in Dubai, and here is kind of different from the Christmas is not a Christian state, but it's present. It's still present, and looking forward to the New Year's Eve here, where we have the big party and big fireworks, etc. Will be fun.
Yeah, and I think 2025 there'll be a lot of fireworks in the crypto space, in the alt space. We're all
Yeah.
hoping for a nice alt season to come. So there's a lot of good things I think ahead of us. I wanted to take the time to catch up with you for the Mintlayer community to just give them some feedback and info on what's going on behind the scenes. Why don't we start with a little overview on what Mintlayer is for maybe some audience members who aren't as familiar?
Sure. So we built Mintlayer as a Bitcoin sidechain with the idea to create something where you can issue assets in a way that you don't pollute the Bitcoin main chain, but is still as interoperable as possible with the Bitcoin main chain. For doing that, we are using the concept of atomic swaps. So that you can, let's say that you issue an asset on Mintlayer, you can exchange the asset with bitcoins in a decentralized way, in a peer-to-peer way, and the user that has Bitcoin doesn't have to compromise the security of their Bitcoin because they are on the Bitcoin main chain, right? So we don't. Obviously, it's possible to wrap Bitcoin on Mintlayer, but you can always interact with the native Bitcoin and exchange them directly, so that it's actual Bitcoin. It's not a wrap version. It's not there's no federation that keep custody of the Bitcoin on the main chain and create a different version, right? On a separate chain. So like WBTC, right? So it's on Ethereum, right? And you can exchange Bitcoin on Ethereum, but there's a federation that keep custody of the real Bitcoin somewhere. If this is get hacked, the whole token collapse.
So how does it work in terms of like being peer to peer? Does there have to be like a buyer matched up to a seller in order for the transaction to go through?
Exactly. Yes, that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. And how big do you anticipate the market for Bitcoin DeFi industry?
Obviously, I'm very bullish. I think it's the future. Let's see what the market. I cannot predict the market. I really hope I'm right. But I think that Bitcoin is becoming the real reserve currency right now, and when you also have states using that to as a reserve, you are basically at the end of this adoption.
Yeah.
And this is the adoption as a reserve currency, but Bitcoin can be much more, right? So it's probably the first step of the first adoption phase, the end of the first step of the first adoption phase. Then you have the rest of the finance that needs to get there, right? At the moment, we have the rest of the finance is stocks, bonds, and everything that is running on centralized exchanges 100%. If we can get those running on a decentralized way, where you basically cut all the intermediary, that will be I think this will be the future.
Yeah. And then, so now are you more, I guess, bullish on the future of this industry after the results of the US election?
I think so. Like it was pretty obvious that the change of administration changed the uh, the crypto. Like the feeling is that they are more positive, they're more friendly. So I think it will, we will see. So obviously, I don't. Uh, a lot of politicians always claim things and then they maintain their promises. I don't think it will be the case, but well, let's see. I'm really positive.
Yeah. Same. I think that I like all the decisions so far about who's been put in place. David Sachs, Paul Atkins, and people who have been historically very pro crypto now in positions to determine some form of regulation. So it looks good. But like you said, we have to wait and see because you never know. In terms of competition for Mintlayer in this space, what's out there that you guys are competing with?
Oh well, the Bitcoin ecosystem is pretty. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of nice projects. I think we are the only one that is focusing on keeping things simple as possible, in terms of the concept and for example, issuing an asset on Mintlayer does not require to be a developer. You can only it's just a transaction at the end of the day. It's not a smart contract or something. You don't need to code the smart contract. It's all everything is built in, and this allows it's less flexibility on one side, but on the other side is more secure because things are already hard coded into the platform, and you cannot escape the boundaries of what you can do. And so, from either perspective of the issuer and the customer, is more secure. Now, um, a lot of projects are also it requires more flexibility. This is why we are working on the the ZK-rollups that will be EVM compatible. It will be a layer 3 because it will be on top of Mintlayer, and the ZK rollup as a concept is there's again trade-offs. Is more centralized yet. There's a lot of work to be done to make it as decentralized as possible. At the moment, it's very difficult to make a rollup that is completely decentralized. Actually, it's as far as I know, it's kind of almost impossible. But it's it's software. So
Yeah.
the idea is to keep working on that research and improving that.
Yeah. You had mentioned, issuing assets on Mintlayer. You don't need a smart contract. Can you explain a little more about like the types of assets and how that would work?
So you can issue any kind of assets, from meme coin down to real world assets. So those that require compliance. The technically is the same concept. Is the same. The difference is how control you need to have on the issuance. Because some regulator wants you to have control over, anti-money laundering, know your customer, and even things like inheritance, like someone, dies and you need to manage where these assets are going to, right? Because they're children, whatever. So these are all things that needs to be the issuer needs to solve, and this is possible. Yeah, and but essentially everything, and NFT obviously is also another big thing. At the moment, we have a very single non-fungible token. So when you mint an NFT or Mintlayer is just one. What we realized that there's a lot of people that wants to create collection of NFTs. Like I have 1,000 NFTs that are the same or close to. So we are working on an extension of that. Will probably be in the future. It's not in the roadmap yet, but we are discussing that internally.
Yeah. You mentioned NFTs. The MLS 03 is the tokenization standard in Mintlayer's solution to NFTs. Can you tell us about that? Will like Mintlayer NFTs link to media files like most NFTs currently do, or are they built fully on chain like, say like CryptoPunks?
No, it's a link to the file, and I explained that in an article that you can find on our blog. I think it doesn't really make sense to once you have the proof that the token represent an asset, and you can do it through the hash of the picture, whatever it is, right? So the media, it doesn't make sense to actually put the asset into the blockchain. It's just polluting the blockchain, and we don't want to do that. And also limit your what you're doing, because, for example, an asset needs to be very small. So you cannot have a very detailed or very large picture, for example, and not even think about a video. But if you move the data outside, then obviously you can actually mint everything. Like a video, this recording, for example, can be an NFT, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see, Cardano and Charles Hoskinson has recently talked about moving into tapping into Bitcoin liquidity for DeFi. Do you view what they're doing as a threat, as competition to what you guys are doing?
I think it's good. The more people is working and innovating, the better. And it's always, an exchange of ideas and stuff. We are still in an environment where there's a lot to learn, there's a lot to do, and so welcome. I'm happy.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think of it in terms of like a rising tide lifts all ships. And, he's very well known in the crypto space, his long history. And if he's able to bring eyes and attention to this space,
Exactly.
I think it'll benefit Mintlayer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's very hard to it's very hard to be the only one. We are not the only one, but if we were the only one working in the space, would be scary. Well,
Yeah, it would then there wouldn't really
there's
be
something wrong. If we are the only one, means
right.
that there's something wrong.
Yeah. So you guys have been building now for how long?
It's 3 years of coding, and we actually just released the version 1, so it's kind of a long journey. And with that, I think we have completed what we had in mind at the beginning. There are many things that we need to do, and these are mostly things that are performance or improvements. But in terms of new feature, I think we're pretty there. Probably we will, as I said, for example, the ZK-rollups, right, is something that at the moment it's we'll probably add some function to integrate better the ZK-rollup with the underlying chain, for example, things like that. But I think we're pretty much there. And in terms of function, we want to improve the node in terms of how quick is to run the node, how quick is to sync the node, these kind of things. So what I see for the future is that we spend a lot of time building, and now it's time to actually build the ecosystem. So we have what we need now to actually start building the ecosystem. And if the market, help us with, some positive movement, because at the moment, the whole, except for Bitcoin and some meme coin, is not very is pretty flat. If you help us, I think, yeah, it would be there. We could do it.
Yeah. There's some questions in the chat. We're going to get to those later. I do have some questions about marketing and things like that. But let's talk a little bit about the roadmap ahead of us, 2025. January, can you tell us about atomic swaps and everything that's going on there?
Yeah. So in January, we will we release the version 1 of Mintlayer, and in January the network will upgrade, enabling the atomic swap. So from the blockchain perspective, it would be possible for everyone to build a DEX. I know Atomic DeFi is working on the first implementation of the DEX. There are other projects at the moment that are working, for example, on specific things like NFT and other things. And this is the very first step. For 2025, I expect to have the rollup also on mainnet. And this is also very important for us because it's, as I said, a lot of projects are wants to move to Mintlayer, but the absence of the EVM compatible layer, let's say, makes things more difficult because they have like an architecture, they already have something there, maybe on another chain, and porting that to Mintlayer at the moment means you have to reprogram everything, and obviously it's very costly. So what if we manage to set up the EVM, then it will be much easier.
Yeah, and what you mentioned projects. What kind of projects do you anticipate building in the ecosystem? Are they strictly related to like RWA, or like are we talking gaming or any type of project?
There are a few game. There's DeFi projects. There's DEXs and NFT. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you open? You mentioned the success and of meme coins this cycle. Are you open to meme coin projects building on Mintlayer?
It's open network. We cannot even stop it. So, and honestly, I'm fine. I mean, it's I said it in a conference like here in Dubai a few months ago, right? If you look at what happened to the internet, right? Memes are part of the internet culture, right? Like cats, and I love it. When it comes to meme coins, maybe there's speculation related to that, and many people don't like, and it's fine. But it's meme, and you cannot stop it. So
yeah, did you buy Fart Coin?
I think it's still part. Sorry.
Did you buy Fart Coin? Did you see that?
Sorry,
you didn't. You sat that one out.
That was too much, probably.
Yeah, it's a wild space, and there are a lot of Bitcoin purists and crypto purists, but you can't stop it, like you said. And ultimately, it is a kind of a conduit to bring people on chain and into the ecosystem, right? And so, Brett is the first coin that really popped off on Base Network, and it helps grow the ecosystem by bringing liquidity in. And so, I think a successful meme project is a good thing and benefits a chain because it attracts attention. It ultimately attracts liquidity that can then flow into other projects.
And I think building a meme coin is very easy. So it's again, it's just a command line. You can do it already on Mintlayer using the command line interface. For example, you can do it. It's just one command. We are building a page which is a token factory that is connected to Mojito, the wallet, and basically you define everything you need for your coin, for meme coin or whatever, even RWA for it. But let's stick to the meme coin, right? So you can build everything inside this interface. You click generate, and it talks to Mojito to generate the asset on chain. Yeah.
Oh. So it's like
and this will be released very, very soon.
so it's a step-by-step process and how to build on Mintlayer, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. It's a graphical interface on a website, basically, that you put how many you want to mint, how all the options that you have, because on Mintlayer you can, for example, keep open the supply. I can say, okay, the supply is fixed, is I don't know 1 billion, and nobody can change that. Or it's open. I build 1 billion now, but tomorrow I can build another billion. That is, for example, if you are issuing a stable coin, you want to keep the supply open because people needs more of that. But if it's a meme coin, maybe you want to keep the supply fixed. And all this parameter and a very simple interface. You click mint, and it will just go.
Yeah. So when do you anticipate a DEX being out on Mintlayer?
So the blockchain will upgrade the 15th of January. I think it would take another month or so for the actual user interface that will be on top of that.
Okay, so maybe around February, but we can't, it's hard to pin down dates and things like that for technology because things come up sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like it's we are always in this we want to do things in a way that are as secure as possible, but that requires a lot of time. So we are always trying to compromise, between, okay, do we want to take 1 month more to release it, or we want to rush and hope it works, right? Obviously, we usually tend to spend 1 month. We prefer to spend an additional month on something and test it more rather than rushing and having something ready sooner.
Yeah.
And you can always maybe we prefer to release something that has less functionality, for example, but is more secure, and then improve it,
Upgrade it. Yeah.
We also did it for the blockchain itself, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, right? Because crypto is so cyclical, and there's a specific time period when the market gets hot and the community wants everything to come out at that time in order to maximize the potential of the token part of it, right? So I'm sure it's difficult to manage.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
You have to manage to have everything when the time comes. And
yeah. In terms of, Julio was talking about marketing. Are there plans for the marketing side? What is the plan on the marketing side for Mintlayer?
So we have at the moment we have several things going on. And for example, we built this game, which is again, it's something that is fun to play, and you can win things. We stopped the marketing for that because we wanted to integrate that to the chain. Now we have the wallet integration. We also want to bring staking into the mini app so that you can win more points or whatever just staking Mintlayer. And this is probably will be one of our main marketing activity in the next future. We have some partnerships that will help bringing more users, but also we don't want to overdo right now because there's no DEX yet and there's no ecosystem. So we need to balance the ecosystem growth with the users, because if you have a lot of users but you don't have an ecosystem, people will just leave. So we need to grow them together.
Right.
And
so
it's
Yeah. So as the DEX comes out and there's an ecosystem being developed, people can expect more and more marketing because then people have a place to be and things to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And, part of that, you mentioned partnerships. Part of that would involve social media and I guess, calls and influencers and things like that, helping to spread the word.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Let me see here. So YoQ asks if there is a robust marketing budget. What's that look like?
Well, I don't know what robust means. I mean, it's in terms of budget, but
Subjective.
yeah, I think we will. It's subjective. Again, it depends on the return you have, and if the return is positive, then you can spend as much as you can, right? When the return is not positive, means that you're spending, but people comes maybe stay in the chat for a week or so, and then they leave, and this is not what we want. So again, we need to. I think the main point here is it's okay to spend on marketing, but we need to balance that with the growth of the ecosystem. And before the DEX, it was very hard. So because you mint a meme coin, but then you cannot exchange the meme coin. So
Right.
what's the point, right? I would just mint a meme coin on Solana, which is why not? And yeah, so that we need to grow them together, and I think it'll. Well, let's see. I hope it will work.
Yeah, because really, I guess so. The first domino in that line of dominoes is the DEX, and once that is created, then the other dominoes will come together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Frank asks, when do you think the ZK-rollup comes? Is that February also?
So the thing is the ZK-rollup is should be ready for testnet. We are at the moment running an audit on the code. We already got some feedbacks, and we are changing a few things. Again, I think it's once we're ready, it will take probably a month or two. Then it's a matter of how long we want to test it on the testnet before releasing on mainnet. Again, I always try to be very careful, because I don't want people to even it's we don't want people to lose money, essentially. So if the bridge is not if any part of the ZK-rollup there's a weak point, then it will compromise the whole project. So I think probably couple months to have it ready on testnet, and another couple months for the mainnet.
Yeah. So first quarter of 2025 could potentially see the DEX come out, the ZK rollups be ready, and then the second quarter and onward is I'm assuming, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we'll perhaps see the ecosystem start developing in terms of more projects start building. And I think that would also be in line with maybe an alt season, right? And so it would attract more people to come in and build.
Hopefully, yeah. This is also another issue we had. A lot of project, for example, we got about a year ago, we had this mini bull run, and a lot of project came to us asking, we want to participate, we want to build something, but then they didn't find resources, because the market was not stopped. Basically, it was completely frozen for a while. So some died, some are still there, but they're waiting for a better market condition for actually raising some funds that they need to build what they want. So again, hopefully the market will improve, and a new project will come on board and start building.
Is there like a fund or for grants or to help developers get started on Mintlayer?
Absolutely, yes. We have grants, we can help them, and we have a large network of VCs and also individuals that want to participate in the funds. So we can help projects raise funds, obviously when the time is positive.
Right.
Yeah, so we can help in different areas, like even development, even the structure. If they want to, we had a lot of experience, like building companies, for example, here in Dubai or even abroad. We have a lot of experience in that. So if someone comes to me and say, okay, I want to build this thing, we can offer some help. We have a
Nice.
network of professionals. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's important. I know that Charlie Shrem is an advisor. He's a founding member of the Bitcoin Foundation. He created BitInstant in 2014, which at the time was responsible for processing 30% of Bitcoin transactions. So I see that as like very, a bullish thing to have someone of his caliber, of his, someone with his history in Bitcoin as a part of Mintlayer. How did that relationship come about?
Oh, well, I think I agree with you. I mean, it's a blessing, and it's been very, very, very helpful since the beginning. Like, he has contact with the whole industry, so everything. Like, for sometimes I asked him, we need a contact for this. Can you help? And 2 days later, we had a right person to speak. So yeah. That's what matters, right? The network and someone that can help you with real good things. Also,
Yeah.
introduce a lot of projects to us.
Yeah. How did you guys link up?
Um, I think it was a guy that was working for us back then, and they were connected. So
Yeah.
somehow, and we met in France a few years ago. Yeah, how it worked.
Yeah. So right now his involvement is again like, in terms of networking, advisory,
Yeah.
and things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really good. So much of this space is narrative driven, and I think it gives a project a sense of legitimacy when you see people of that caliber with that level of respect within the industry associated with a project. So I think that that's a really good thing for you that you guys have going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we talked about the bull run. It's coming. Any expectation of Bitcoin and where it goes this cycle?
Oh well, I think I was expecting this, correction. Because it's normal, right? When you have like a massive movement upward, and you have to correct at some point. But I think 2025 would be very, very. I hope it would be very, very bullish, and for Bitcoin and for the rest of the market. I don't have an idea of where
Give us a number,
how
Enrico.
far it can go. But sorry,
I said, give us a number, brother.
I would say at least 200,000.
Okay. Oh, you're bullish. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
And that would, of course, be, another catalyst is, for Mintlayer, right? Because that just brings more attention. Do you anticipate, RWA is a big hot narrative this cycle. In terms of marketing, is part of the plan to market Mintlayer as an RWA play?
So I'm a big fan personally. Again, the chain is agnostic, so we can do everything. But I think the future is there, and that's why we have built the RWA company here in Dubai, and I think it's needed. I think it's what this industry needs to do, because you can keep trading, meme coin forever. You actually have to do something you need to trade something that have something somewhere, and that's why you can with the real world asset you can put on chain and trading with the the DeFi experience. Let's say asset are the old style assets with something behind, and shares of companies, bonds, but also there are a lot of real estate project. One of the project that is building on Mintlayer is on patents. For example, there are arts like jewelry arts and very high expensive things for collectors basically. And yeah, I think this is where this is the thing that they have a real meaning. And once you bring these things that actually cannot, they have a value, right? So you can always have bubbles, and going up and down is normal, but if you bring things that make sense, there is a limit where you can go down, right? So for example, a company have assets, they have a building, they have machines and stuff, then they have a real value. So the value of whatever you're trading cannot collapse, and a 99% cannot do a minus 99%. If it's a meme coin, it will. It may be, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is the direction where we have to go, and this is what will bring real trading to the blockchains. Something that doesn't exist yet, and there's a lot of work to do again, because it's two words that are very hard to it's very hard to make them talk, because they're speaking different language. If you take a crypto DJ and talking to it's very hard to you need a translator basically. When the hard part is you need someone that translate things both ways, and yeah, but this is the main difficulty, and then I think it will be it will what will bring trillions of dollars into this market.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. One of the things I really like about the Mojito wallet is the staking aspect of it, how easy and seamless it is to stake your Mintlayer in there. And currently, I think people are getting on average like a 55% yield on staking. Frank has a question. Is there any way to switch staking pools without waiting for the 10-day unlock?
I think we discussed that internally. I think it's the reason why it's not possible is for some security, but honestly, I forgot why. I need to double check with the team. But there were some issue with from the security perspective. So maybe I can bring this up again with the team. Yeah, I remember that was the main issue here. Maybe we can find some solution. It's not. Maybe there's a way to do that for the future. But at the moment, it requires. It will require an upgrade of the network. So we tend to do this upgrade rarely, like as less as possible. And when we do that, we want to bundle as much stuff as possible into at least the mainnet. We can upgrade the testnet very easily, but the mainnet needs to be, we are much more careful in upgrading the mainnet.
Yeah. Night Shift asks, any plans for Uniswap style app?
So if you mint Bitcoin on the main chain, as far as we know at the moment is impossible, because there's no concept of pool on Bitcoin. But if you have a wrapped version of Bitcoin on the ZK, for example, that is possible. But again, it's a trade-off, right? So we can do that, but you have to know that. What's this dying computer? You have to know that it's not Bitcoin on the main chain. It would be Bitcoin wrapped version of Bitcoin, and if the bridge is compromised, you lost everything. So yeah, trade-offs.
Right. Will we have a stable coin to stake a Mint USD?
Uh, so we don't have, obviously, we don't want to build everything, and someone would bring a stable coin. Yeah,
Someone will. Okay, but outside of Mintlayer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like that might be in the works.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. And real Victor had one more question about marketing plans. I guess specifically, what type of marketing?
Okay, so again, marketing is about, I think, is about people, mostly like the community itself that speak and help, and this is what we are trying to do with, for example, the mini game, and once we have an ecosystem, for example, like I don't know, meme coins and these kind of things, and I think when you have an ecosystem, the ecosystem would be the main marketing for Mintlayer, because at the moment it's just us marketing, but when you have a set of projects that are part of the ecosystem, then they will also earn with marketing. Like Atomic, for example, is one of the projects. They have their own marketing budget. They have their own team, and they're working for themselves, but they are also working for Mintlayer essentially, because they are also helping the rest of the ecosystem. So.
Yeah, 100%. I agree on both of those things in terms of the projects marketing for you and also building a strong community and having that community go out and being a voice, because you see that often with a lot of projects that just have very strong communities behind them. And that's really the best form of marketing. It's always good to allocate, right, to, get influencers to amplify the voice and things like that. And I'm sure that's also in the works. But a key part is in building community. And are there specific ways that you're looking? I know you talked about the game. Other ways that you're thinking about building community, maybe hosting spaces, things like that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, again, we want to wait for the right moment for that. But the idea is to grow the community together with the ecosystem, and all the project that we will bring on Mintlayer, and we want to help them as much as possible. Our grant is essentially a marketing budget, right? So we want them to build on Mintlayer because they will help the whole ecosystem, and for doing so, we help them, technical stuff. We also bring them, for example, the mini game, and that will help creating their own community, and so on. So it's you cannot. It's part of a growing strategy, and the missing part at the moment is, again, the DEX. And once you have the DEX, I think the rest is
come together.
Will be much easier. Yeah.
Yeah. How many core staff do you guys have?
I think at the moment there are 15 people, 20 people.
Okay.
And
in terms of, and you're continuing to expand.
Yeah. We need developers. It's very hard to find developers.
Yeah.
Rust developers that understand blockchain stuff.
Right. In terms of exchanges, I know Coinbase and Binance, those are not easy to get. Everyone says, when Coinbase, when Binance, for every project, those are not easy, and they're quite expensive to get on, and they're not easy to get on. But there are other tier ones that are more accessible. Are there plans to get into some other exchanges beyond what you're on? I think you're on like 5 or 6 exchanges right now.
Yeah, we are on 6 exchanges, and Well, also, like, for example, Bitget is one of the top 10, I think. Even I think Gate and Maxi are pretty high. Uh, and obviously, in order to get to other exchanges, um, yeah, you need to have a lot of things like volume, number of users, and so on, which is again part of the strategy. And the but we are in touch with almost every exchange, and I think we will get there. We will add more in the future.
As time goes on, right? So
Probably.
that is part of the overall plan and roadmap.
Exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, it's an infrastructure project, so we need to be everywhere, because otherwise, your own project are limited to the exchange where you're on. So we need to be everywhere, and that's the goal.
So ideally, you would like to one day get on Binance and Coinbase.
Yeah, ideally, we want to.
Yeah. Where do you guys see yourselves? It's this time next year. Let's say it's we're heading into 2026. Where do you see Mintlayer? Where would you like to see it? Because obviously, the best laid plans, sometimes you plan and, tech takes time. But ideally, what would you like to see? Where would you like to see Mintlayer at this time next year?
I would love to have like a good set of project already part of the ecosystem, like a DEX, a Launchpad, like the NFT marketplace, for example, or, I don't know, even a meme coin, whatever. But again, this is my personal preference. I hope that all the discussion we have at the moment with institutionals will move on forward, and we actually have a good set of real world assets, where you can differentiate your, for example, your Bitcoin with directly.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to 2025, as I'm sure you are, and everyone in the audience is. I do think that we're going to get an alt season. I think a lot of liquidity is going to come into this market, and that will help Mintlayer, like you said, because you're going to get a bunch of people that want to build over here. We're running out of time, but I'll squeeze in another one. How many partnerships and project builders do you currently have now?
That cannot affect Q1.
I don't know the end of that. I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
I guess how many people are currently building on there now?
A few. I don't. I think like 4 or 5. And there are some that we are in touch with that are waiting for more funds to start. And when the time will come, we will also help them, connecting to our network. So ideally, if let's say that we have this bull run, probably 10, 15 projects are already we are in touch with, and hopefully more.
Yeah, it sounds exciting. There's a lot of I think optimism for this market for a real alt season. So I think we're going to know, in the next 6 weeks or so, where we're at in terms of that. And I'm really looking forward to 2025. I want to thank you for coming on the channel, sharing your thoughts and vision of Mintlayer and where it's going. Any final thoughts or words for the community?
Well, I just want to thank everyone for the very high patience they have, because I know they, for example, if you look at the at Mintlayer, right, things are very difficult to build when you're building something that is new. So I hope people understand that. And in terms of marketing, again, it's the expectation sometimes are different from the reality, and well, we're doing our best, and I think it's time will come, and you know, again, it's about the ecosystem and the growth that we can get, and it's not always just about the price. So, you know, I hope we get more people interested in building and creating things than, you know, just pure speculation, because I have nothing against speculation, but you know, it's not just speculation. There's much more.
And I mean, you have to focus on building, and then oftentimes price follows when the market is right. Yeah.
Yeah, we cannot predict the price. And
correct. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Thanks to everyone in the chat for coming through, asking questions. Enrico, I hope you have a very happy New Year over there in Dubai, and it'll be fun catching up with you another time. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everyone.
Take care. Happy New Year, everyone.
Cheers.